Look, there is no doubt that life gets hard sometimes. It does. It gets hard and we get frustrated and we get annoyed and we can feel like we're sinking. All of that happens to every single person on this planet. So if it's happening to you right now, just know that you're not alone, that there are other people out there struggling. There are other people out there going through. It might not be the exact same experience that you're going through, but they have the same similar emotions. They have the anxiety. They have the same kinds of things you're feeling. There are other people that are feeling the same thing at this time in other ways, but the same basic emotions. So give yourself the ability to see outside of yourself, to see that you are connected on a bigger level. It's not you on this island all alone going through something that only you are going through. It's not that. There are other people struggling. There are other people going through stuff that's really hard and really challenging for them. So you will get through this. You will get through this. You will get through this. And when you do, when you make it to the other side and you're there and you can look back at your journey, there's going to be a reason that you will see when you're away from it, of something that paid off. There is something that you learned about yourself. There is something that there's all different kinds of reasons for why we go through what we go through. And there's so many of them that aren't what we label as bad. They're not necessarily a bad thing. When you are struggling or suffering, we tend to put labels on that and think of that as like, that's bad, it's awful, I hate feeling like this, I don't want to feel like this, I'm going to do whatever I can to not feel like this. But what if we removed the label? And what if we just sat with that feeling and didn't label it? It's a feeling that feels uncomfortable. Sure, we don't want to feel this, but we didn't label it as bad. We didn't label it as like, I don't want to be here. We just labeled it as, I'm experiencing this thing. It doesn't feel pleasant, but it's okay. I am in a place now where I can sit with this and I can experience this and I can feel it and I can process it. And I can think about the feeling, not the story we create in our head, but the feeling, the place in our body where this tightness, where that restriction resides. We find that place and we focus on that tightness. It could be your head or your chest or your throat or your heart or your stomach or your back. It could be anywhere, but you will find, if you are connected to your body, you will find a place in your body where that tightness, that anxiety sits. And when you find that place, you hone in on it and you give it all of your attention and you detach from the story that caused that feeling. You forget about the story and you focus solely on that feeling. And just give all of your attention to that place inside of yourself that's feeling that. Give all of your attention to it completely, because one thing that we don't want to do is give all of our attention to that stuff. We want to do everything we can to not give attention to that. So what you resist persists. So if you resist it, it's going to come back stronger and more powerful. Like, pay attention to me, pay attention. I'm feeling this. I need you to pay attention. But once you take that step back and you pay attention and you give that area inside of yourself, that tightness, the attention that it's needing, something great happens. It's not like it just disappears, although sometimes that can happen, but it lessens and it dissipates and it goes away and fades away in a manner that it would never go away if you tried to resist it, because then it is always buried in your body. Your body holds on to things until you can get in there and do the work and release it. And so that's all you're doing. You're getting in there and you're doing the work. And you're doing the work by making yourself go into a place that's uncomfortable, that doesn't feel good, and you're making yourself do it because you know what? You are brave. Because it's not easy to go inside. It's easy to go out and maybe do stuff on the outside, but to go inside, that can be where like the biggest fears in life are, inside of ourselves. So when you can go inward and look at those and face those, you, my friend, are the bravest kind of brave, because that takes balls. And once you do that, once you go in and you do the work and you start with something, just any feeling, if you start with a story and then you attach the emotion and the feeling inside of yourself to that story, you can find the place inside of you and then detach from the story and find that place that is hurting, that is tight, that is constricted, and give it all of your attention. And one way to give it all of your attention is send love. Send these rays of love. Like pull these rays of love out of the air in your imagination and put them all into that feeling. And then kind of visualize, after you sit with that a little bit and just give that love over and over, then you kind of visualize it dissipating. Visualize that tightness loosening up and fading away and drifting out of your body into the never, never world, or wherever you'd like to drift to. Or that one thing you can do is fade away. Another thing you could do is like picture yourself with a hammer kind of cracking it, like banging it until it kind of loosens and crumbles and falls. There's all different kinds of visuals you can do, so you can just kind of find one that works with you, but you are just first giving it all of your attention and then visualizing it fade away. And that doesn't mean it's just going to be gone. I mean, it could be, but also bear in mind, you might have to do this every day. Do it one day, then do it the next day, then do it the next day. But the more you do this, the more you really go inside and feel what it is. That is what it wants. It just wants to be felt. So the more you give it that, the less. It's like a child. When a child is acting out and throwing a temper tantrum and they're crazy, when you try to resist and you walk into the other room, they'll follow you. Be like, pay attention to me. I'm hurting. I need you to watch me. And you'll like go in another room and they follow you around trying to get you to pay attention. But the minute you turn around and give them your full attention, slowly, sometimes takes a long time, but slowly they'll start to calm down. And they'll feel heard and they'll feel seen and they'll feel understood. And that is what you're doing for yourself. You are giving yourself the ability to be heard and seen and understood. And if no one else in the world can give you that, you can give it to yourself. And you can give it to yourself every single day for as long as it takes. Every time that you have that anxiety or that stress or that fear, you go inward, find it, and love it. And love yourself. And give yourself all the things that maybe no one else is giving you. Give that to yourself. So, that's all for today. Just know that you are worth it. If there's one thing that I can impact on you, it is that you are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy.